the key attributes or aspects of the communication service that are really important for you in making your choice in vendors and solutions?
So we have a support VP who's new to the business, Andre, and he had previous experience with the 8x8 predecessing company.
Gotcha.
So he had experience that pointed him towards 8x8 initially.
Gotcha.
And so 8x8 already had a warm start, but he did a complete due diligence across the board. And what he found that was in terms of pricing and features and what we needed to get out of it, 8x8 was the winner. So his previous experience with the software and how well it operated and how well it was supported, in addition to new developments and new features and the price point, 8x8 wins.
So now that's interesting. So you looked at the other players out there and did your comparison there. You are a technology company.
Right.
You are a technology company that delivers services in the cloud. And yet as a technology company, communications technology is not your specialty, is not your practice.
Correct.
And it was important to you, and you recognized early in that process, it sounds like, that we don't want to be the ones building a solution or buying a solution, owning the solution. We want to use the solution.
Right. We're quite busy wrestling with issues like the CD10 rollover. And so the idea of, building our own, I'm sure crossed some engineers' mind at some point, but, we're looking for an out-of-the-box, get it done, support people tomorrow kind of situation, and that's what 8x8 provided for us.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. And so how's it working out? Where are we today? Now we've got it in play. It's operating across your business.
So we're already getting the kind of analytic feedback that we were hoping for, and we are already verifying the aspects of our application development that we want verified through the support queue, as well as the productivity of our support agents. So Andre is able to make decisions with regard to where to put more resources, and I don't think anything too unexpected come up there, but just having the data on hand to confirm that the way we're thinking about things is the right way to approach it is in itself a huge, huge assistance.
And from an administration perspective, I know you don't have to personally get involved with the administration of the system, but in your conversations with the folks that do, did you gain any particular insights about how that has changed, evolved, improved, or what's different in that world?
So I think their ability to, we just added an 800 number. And from what I understand from the support folks, that implementing that 800 number has been a huge success. And I'm sure that part of the credit goes into the ease of being able to plug that number in throughout the system with the 8x8 software. So configuration, ease of management, all those different pieces are. Our support folks have a new, super hot rod car, and they love driving it around.
Who wouldn't like that, right?
Yeah.
And one of the key things there, key factors I just want to point out is you are administering your system in-house. It's all done in-house. You don't have to pay somebody else to do that.
Correct. We were in that trap before, and I know that they're very happy to be able to make the changes they want to make when they want to make them, and move forward at the speed of thought as opposed to the speed of the third party billing us for their services.
And it didn't require any sophisticated level of programming knowledge or certifications. It's basically
regular old people using the system. And speaking of things that didn't have to change, we did not have to go through a major hardware upgrade either. So because it's a cloud-based solution and it's interoperable throughout the hardware that we had existing, we were able to roll into this 8x8 system without a lot of hardware expense as well.
At your schedule, right?
Right. Yeah, and it's, from what I understand, this has been one of the fastest implementations of a new system that I've seen. I mean, typically, when I'm looking at an enterprise system for anything, they're always talking about 9 months, 18 months, something like that. And from what I know, this was done very, very quickly within a month or two. So, going from where we wanted to be to where we're happily now, make the decision and get it done. It's worked well.
Yeah, and that month or two was really from the start of discussions to we've got it running.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's the rarity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that is a wonderful conversation. Thank you for sharing that with us. And so there's the perspective from a new to the voice over IP world, and really James is describing Dismatic's use of the 8x8 contact center, virtual contact center. And now what I want to do is turn the conversation over to William Stern from Bank of Cardiff, who has been using a voice over IP solution from 8x8 for several years now. And as we're transitioning here, I just want to make it clear that both William and James are here to handle questions as we go through the session. So as we get through the conversation here, we do want to hear from you. So post your questions, and we'll do our best to make sure that we address all those questions as we're going through the session. And so, William, welcome, and thank you for being there. And let's talk a little bit now about Bank of Cardiff. Tell us a little bit about Bank of Cardiff and how your journey has started, and we'll get into the communications aspects of that as well.
All right, absolutely. Well, thanks for having me both to the Spiceworks network and David with 8x8. We are a huge supporter of VoIP technology, and we're an early adopter. But before I get to all of that, I'll explain a little bit about what Bank of Cardiff does and who we are. Bank of Cardiff is a privately held company. We're not public. And we, because we're not public, maybe we're able to be early adopters of technology when it's not maybe stable enough for public consumption. But we provide, working capital to medium-sized businesses with revenue between, I want to say, 5 and 50 million. We also provide equipment-based financing and leasing. So those are the two primary revenue drivers. We needed to, as technology was changing, we needed to marry ourselves to a phone system that would allow for scalability as our company grew. We started out with 8x8 about 6 years ago.
And William, because of your background there and what Bank of Cardiff is all about, providing financing for capital equipment, you have a very interesting perspective, I think an enlightening perspective on the whole conversation about when is it practical, when does it make sense for a business to go out and procure capital equipment for the business, when is that germane to what you do versus nice to have or ancillary or not really practical. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think so. Because we're an equipment-based finance company, we have been lending money for the past, 12, 15 years to, small, medium-sized businesses that are looking to finance or lease an enterprise phone system. And believe it or not, it's really almost a conflict of interest because the representatives that are procuring the financing and setting it up, both with the vendor that's selling the phone system, right, and the customer who's going to be financing the system, that agent, if you want to call them that, they're using an 8x8 system, a system that's managed in the cloud for us, where we don't have that fancy, bells and whistles look, right? We don't have this on-premise phone system with all these blinking lights. And so we can't speak to whether or not this piece of equipment is actually going to bring them the ROA that they're hoping for, but we kind of just, it's mum's the word. We don't necessarily say, to the contrary, to the customer or to the vendor, like, hey, what you're selling or what you're buying we don't necessarily agree with. If we're offline and we're talking to a customer about the asset and the vendor's not on the line, and they ask us for our opinion, we are always huge supporters of them taking a look at a cloud-based phone system. And sometimes if they do ask, yeah, we actually do bring up the fact that we're with 8x8, we're an early adopter, we've been with them for a long time, and that we're extremely happy with the level of service, and that they might want to investigate that type of cloud-based phone system that that's managed for them.